It's a video chart presentation for Bahamas Development Corp. Now, I'll use that name a little loosely. That's the parent corporation for Global Consortium, which is doing business as Cannabis Consortium. It's in the process of a reverse merger that began back in January, and that's why I particularly focused on this time frame. During 2018, see a stock developing a nice little uptrend. Here, particularly since April, moving very strongly upward, holding over its 50-day moving average, as well as its 200-day moving average. This is midday on Monday. You can see the stock is up 6.5%. 1.7 million shares traded. Kind of a little bit of a slow day, but again, we're not all the way through. And more importantly, no issues with liquidity in this stock. Last trade today is right around 8 cents, keeping the RSI in a bullish position over top of 50. Of course, that's pretty easy to see at the same time. Stock is definitely holding an upward trend. I want to note that trend line is pretty important. I'd like to see the price per share hold over top of it. Go ahead and use auto support and resistance to put a line in here. But even if it does pull back, really want to see it hold that 50-day moving average, which is about 5.6 cents and moving up. And you can see that was an area that was serving as some resistance and some support, holding the basic rules of classic technical analysis. So if by chance BDCI happens to pull back further, I'd suspect that the 50-day in this horizontal area of support will potentially attract buyers again as the stock tries to continue the uptrend. Now, I do see some other intermediate areas of support beneath that. I'd say certainly right there at 4 cents. And then again, a little bit of a double bottom look to it right there around 3 cents. Also ties in with the 200-day moving average. Now, it's hard to anticipate any stock that's moving upward and upward trend to call a bottom like that. But I definitely want to note those areas just in case the stock does happen to slip further. You pay attention for other support points to see how the stock price reacts. As I mentioned, we're seeing the RSI, which is the momentum gauge, showing that the bulls are still in control. Stock has just passed through what I'd call another decent area of resistance, now serving as support right there at 7 cents. See, it fought with it to break through, finally did, and now in each drop it's come back down and held that support. And again today on Monday, it's trying to push back upwards and put a little distance between that support point and the price per share. Not a whole lot in resistance in the way right through here. A little bit, about 8.5 cents. I don't see that as being that big of a deal. A little bit more around 9. I'd say the tough area resistance really comes into play right there around a dime. You can see back here in January, hit it, fell back. In March, it hit it twice and fell back. As it tried to approach it in April, slipped back again in May. Then after it finally popped through it, it gave it right back up the next day. So I'd suspect 10 cents, we'll call it just a general area of resistance, up to 10.8 cents. Those are going to be the two big spots for this stock to contend with. If it breaks through, it's a bit of a blue sky breakout, because as I said, this is really a new company since the beginning part of the year. So it'll look back and reflect upon what the stock was doing in early 2017, say. It's not very accurate to what BDCI is today. And because it is a breakout, it becomes a little bit more difficult to decide where the stock might settle as far as developing some new resistance points. One thing that I would look for, I'll clear some of this out of the way real quick, is for an upward channel to continue. And just based solely upon what we have to go with here, we could look quite easily something along those lines, which of course depends on how quickly it moves. If that area happens to be 13 cents, 14 cents, or what have you, to basically follow the short-term trend lines being established. Of course, this is a dynamic trend line. If the stock came up and say made a move, something like that, the trend line would be adjusted. But this is giving some perspective on what to look for in an upward trend being developed. Pretty nice, been going on for about 6-7 weeks right now. Stock has made a great move over that time from 3 cents all the way up to the resistance at 10 cents. And based upon the overall position of the chart, price per share holding over the moving averages, both are trending upward now. It's certainly nothing but bullishness at this point. So you look for breakouts. Technical traders will look for entry points on pullbacks to support and look for the long-term trend to continue as the company establishes a footprint in the cannabis space. From the RSI, we see bullishness. We took a quick look through the other indicators. We see the MACD well over 0. Again, that's a bullish case. Pulling back a little bit. It can't go up forever. It does have to pull back and reset itself a little bit. That's just the nature of the beast with charts. Seeing the same thing a little bit in the MFI, pulling back near 0. Accumulation distribution certainly trending upward. Shaking money flow over 0. CCI, buy and sell points are on the break of 100. See, it's curling upward right now. Tricks well over the 0 line. Everything pretty much in general where I'd expect it to be. Stock makes some pretty big moves in either direction, which certainly makes the indicators in turn make sharp moves as well. Really all I'm looking for is holding the bullish position in general, holding the uptrend, and holding over the key moving averages. So BDCI is checking all the boxes that you look for in a chart trying to come through, make higher lows and higher highs to develop a long-term bullish chart. But as always, merely my interpretation of the BDCI chart. We encourage you to always consult with a qualified investment professional and to read our full disclaimer disclosure before making any investment decisions. Thank you for watching. Trade smart.